So start of day 2 after cyclone Gabrielle. Charlie's on coffee making duty. Got the generator going. Got battery banks charging in here, and we've put the coffee machine in here because coffee is life.
Not for me.
So these guys are looking pretty happy this morning. So let's see how wet we are in here. Not too bad. We'll just get all these wet shavings out and fill it up with nice clean bedding. Babies. Okay, so these guys are looking quite happy now, eh, Teddy? Oh, here. Right, we'll come and see how this mum is. This is the one that nearly killed her baby yesterday by leaving it out in the cold and the wet. Aww. Looking a lot happier today. Nice and dry in here.
Oh,
It's better, isn't it?
yeah.
So,
We've got the budgies over that side.
yeah, we've got the budgies up there.
And
And
they don't have that food.
yeah, exactly. I think they're okay. They just need some more food, these two. Okay, 2 down. We've got nice clean shavings now. Fresh food and water. Where's your baby? What have you done with your baby? Can we check it's okay? It's hiding. Oh, there it is. Let's have a look at your baby. You were nearly dead yesterday, mate. Now you're alive. There you go. Good girl. These babies are looking good. Nice and dry. The rug's done the trick. Quite a lot of water in it though. So, try and get this off without soaking everybody. Well, how's this gonna go? Oh, look at that. What a pro. Still quite dry underneath, so that's good. Oh, nice and cosy in there. Yeah, not too bad at all. Didn't rain very much last night, so everything's starting to dry out a little bit, which is good. So this all looks good. We'll just give them some fresh food. Give the water a bit of a top up. Right, so these guys have got some fresh grass, just move them over. Babies are looking nice and dry. Fresh food, top up of water. Mum can show them how to peck at the grass now. Mum showing her babies how to dig in the dirt. Right, so out here with our chookies and our guinea fowl and our rooster. So I've got a bit of dogwell and some maize for them this morning. Oh, and all of this good stuff. Want some of this, girls? Yeah. Yeah. Oh, my fancy door is falling apart in the wet weather. Yeah, let me do that because you might hurt yourself. It's way too fancy. Move this out of the way. So we discovered last night, well, yesterday morning. Oh, she's laid her white egg. Oh yeah, she's laying her white egg. That's good. So we discovered, yesterday morning we had cell phone reception. And then, girls, come on, have some decorum. And then the cell phone reception was just like, I had to drive down the road to get cell phone reception yesterday. And then randomly got a couple of bars. Anyway, that went at about 11 o'clock in the morning. We couldn't get cell phone reception anymore at all anywhere. And then, so we drove to the highest point on the farm last night to see if we could get some up there, which we did. We got a bar of reception. Thank you. And so, but not enough to, we can't call. I think all the lines are too busy to call, but we can send an odd text, like most of them don't go through, but managed to get one or two through. Anyway, so what we discovered, what we discovered last night while we were up there was that the slips on the farm have taken out major water supplies to the back of the farm. So they're just the main water lines to the back of the farm are just pumping water out onto the hillside. So we lost water in the house this morning. So that was a little bit alarming, but Nathan's managed to turn a tap off and sort of isolate our home tank for us. So hopefully we've got a tank full of water, which is fine. But yeah, water supply to the animals on the farm is now a little bit of an issue. Ironically, because we've got so much water everywhere that's caused so much damage, but they need water to drink, and they need lots of water to drink. So we're gonna have to start working out what we can do about that. Whether we open up some paddocks into dams. So ironically, all this hard work that's been doing, we're told to fence off all our waterways and plant up dams and plant up streams and not allow any access and have reticulated water everywhere. And then this is what happens when you have reticulated water and a major, be gentle, and a major rain event. So yeah, we've got a few issues going on. Haven't heard from anybody, haven't seen anybody really, other than a couple of neighbours that we've driven over farmland to get to. So yeah, I've sent out a couple of messages saying there's a few people up here that aren't in very good positions with their houses and things. So we're actually thinking about maybe trying to get some of the neighbours clubbing together to pay a local helicopter guy to fly out some supplies for us. So I guess if we don't hear anything from anyone in the next few days, and if it doesn't look like anyone's trying to clear the roads, that might be what we try and do, as long as we've still got enough cell phone reception to send a text. So yeah, anyway, that's what we're doing. Me and Ted are out here feeding the chooks, eh Teddy? Do you want to finish feeding them the dog roll? Yeah, she's the broody one, I know. Yep, I'll get them out.
She's going to jump back up.
She's pretty determined, isn't she? She wants to guard her eggs. Hopefully she stays broody long enough so that when we get all our chicks, all our brown shaver chicks, she'll be able to be a mum to some of them. That'll be good. Good job, Ted. So how many eggs do you reckon you've got?
Shit.
So I'm just driving out to try and get some reception, send a text, and I just thought I'd show you some of the slips. So this is on the neighbour's farm. So you can see anywhere that's not flat, basically, anywhere that's got any sort of degree of steepness to it, the whole face has just slipped away. So that's the dome over in the background over there. That's where a few of us get our water from. There's a spring on there that we get our water from, and that's all slipped. And then this is our neighbours just right next to us here. You can see all those faces have slipped. Haven't seen the back of our farm yet. Sorry, but I'm just doing my top text completely slipped away. Basically any face, any bit of land that isn't completely flat has just been overwhelmed with a volume of water and is so sodden that it's just slumped down the hill. So I actually don't know how much rain we had overnight on Monday, but from the forecast it looked like it was going to be about 300 mil overnight, which is just crazy. So yeah, basically any bit of land that isn't almost completely flat has just slumped away. So that's looking down the back of our farm. A lot of sort of steeper stuff is down the back down there, so a lot of the faces down there have gone. The only bit on our farm that was marked as erosion prone is that face there, and we were considering possibly planting that up, but it is also quite a productive face, to be honest. So everywhere else on our farm on the regional council maps was not marked as erosion prone because it's quite sort of rolling contour. It's not actually a steep farm at all. So this is what our farm looks like. You can imagine what steeper farms look like. Some big slips down this side as well, and across our main track out on the farm down there. And then that's looking across on the neighbours over there. So see, their whole face is gone. Up to the dome, that's where we get our water supply on our other farm. Basically the whole sort of side of the dome is all slipped away. All that flatter stuff is okay, the real flat stuff. Yeah, we've never ever had anything like this here. I don't think anyone in Partaker has ever had anything like this. Cyclone Bowler was nowhere near what this is, apparently, for us. Probably similar to some other areas of New Zealand, but for us this is just nuts, absolutely nuts. We've lost our water lines out to the back of the farm, so we've now got major water leaks and we're going to have issues trying to get stock water, ironically. Yeah, I don't know what to say at the moment, really. I just came up here to get reception to send a couple of texts. Oh, we saw the RAF fly over just before, so the RAF are surveying damage everywhere at the moment, apparently. I got a text through from Beef and Lamb to say that, so that's kind of reassuring that they've actually flown out here and seen the level of damage, and hopefully they've seen all the roads and all the slips on the roads, and they've seen the house up the road that's got slips all around it. Yeah, but I mean, because we don't know how bad it is everywhere else, so maybe this is mild, you know. It's just a bizarre situation to be in. He's sort of going, come and help us, but then there might be other people that are way worse off than us. I mean, I know that people have lost their houses in town with flooding, so we've got all these slips, but we haven't got flooding because we're up in the hills, so at least we've got, some of us have still got our houses. But yeah, this is our livelihood, you know, growing grass, farming animals is our livelihood, so this is quite scary really when you sit back and think about the consequences of this going forwards. Like, you see all these slips, that's just grassland gone, and that's what we feed our animals on, so yeah, gonna need more chickens. Where are they? Do you reckon I saw you?
Huh? Wait, look what teddy bear did to me. She
Oh, no.
bit me there. She
Major
bit me
injuries.
Tons of bit me all over my hand.
Oh dear.
Down
What are you doing, puppies? What are you doing?
I pushed her away to you and she said, "Sulking."
Oh,
So I'm holding her.
come here. At least we've got you lot to keep us entertained, haven't we? What's that? Yeah. See the helicopter? Just going behind that big tree over there. So I'm in the garden doing some therapeutic weeding. Just had a visit from a neighbour who lives a bit closer to the fire station than we do, and he's managed to get through and get the radio comms for FENZ, Fire and Emergency New Zealand, And a few of the neighbours up that end, close to Partoker, have been getting together, and they had a meeting at 12 o'clock. They're going to have meetings every day at 12 o'clock now in the hall. But yeah, basically there's a heap of people cut off. We've lost our bridge into town, so dairy tankers, well, no one can get out here. There's no access at all, so it's all kind of just local crews, local farmers basically on their tractors trying to clear slips so that we can at least sort of get to each other's places. And people have been sharing generators, plugging freezers in at other people's houses that have got power or have got solar. So yeah, news from town is that we're at least don't expect to have any help within the next 5 days. So yeah, there's a lot of focus on what's happening in town and people's houses being flooded, and there's a lot of focus on the news apparently about what's happening in Auckland, and the rural communities are expected to look after ourselves because we're resilient people, and we're fine, but I am worried about some of the neighbours further up our road that might not be as well prepared as we are. So yeah, we'll see what happens. We'll get to that meeting tomorrow. They've opened up the road between us and Partoker Hall now, so we can at least go to the meetings and have radio comms with town. So we'll go to that meeting tomorrow. We've had the generator plugged into various freezers. Got our coffee machine going this morning. That was good. Highlight of my day. And now we're dealing with no power on a bull farm, so bulls just getting in with each other, and water, so losing all our water. Yeah, so that's the update. That's why I'm just going to keep weeding my veggie garden at the moment. Why do I get the feeling this is going to be the story of our life for the next few days? There's lots of people in helicopters flying past. Got the really helpful crew here. Oh, here comes Tiny. You right? He's digging some potatoes. We've got a crock pot on top of the oven for dinner with some sort of beef concoction in it. I don't really know what it is that I've made today. It's got an oxtail and some other meat that I think was beef. Can't be sure. The last of my vegetable stock. Oh, there's my seed potato. The last of my vegetable stock. I've still got lots of onions left. Loads of meat. Got a few veggies in the garden. So that's good. Heaps of curly kale. I'm not going to run out of curly kale. Be good if the kids liked curly kale. Even my chickens don't eat curly kale. I don't know. Anyway, puppies are happy. I think she got something in her eye. Her eye looks a bit sore. So, had a good weed around here. Got a couple of buckets of veggies for my caravan chooks in the morning. And Flash is ever hopeful she'll be allowed inside these things. A few veggies for the chooks and their babies. There's 5.
That might be the 5 that we saw out there.
Where did the 5th one come from? Oh, it's behind them, I see.
It might be a stag.
Try and hunt those deer down.
Well, you just ruined my video saying that.
Sorry. You can put like epic music on it or something.
I'm going down that gully.
Can you go?
It's pretty cool.
Can I tell you where we're going?
have to get across the slip themselves, aren't they? Look at them, they're like, what has happened here?
Where are we?
Just back up on top of the hill, getting some reception, sent a couple of texts this evening, and yeah, not too many updates this evening, mainly just people trying to work out what we need, if we're going to run out of anything, if there's anyone that's really in strife up here. Yeah, so I've been sending a few texts, had heaps of helicopters going over today, which is sort of reassuring that people are having a look at what is going on. But then we have been told that it's going to be 5 days until towns start to send any sort of support up here, so that's a little bit frustrating. But anyway, we are all doing okay. Had a beer on top of the hill to celebrate being alive and still having a house. That's a bonus. But this is stuff that makes you feel very nervous when you come into the shed and your husband is pulling apart switchboards.
What's that?
He's not an electrician, he's a farmer.
Oh,
Daddy, what's he up to?
I don't know.
No, I don't know either, but it's making me worried. Ted is doing some dinner prep. What were you just telling me about Cyclone Gabrielle, Ted?
I broke all our fences.
Cyclone Gabrielle broke all our fences. We don't like Cyclone Gabrielle, do we?
Nope.
Nope. So Ted's preparing some... Yeah, he has. He's got squeaky clean hands. Ted's preparing some greens from the garden, some beans from the garden. Up here we've got some boys reading on the couch.
No, I aren't reading. I'm playing
Check
games.
it out. We've got our eggs down here, hoping that they will hatch at some point, keeping them nice and toasty warm. And then up here we've got stew and dumplings, and oh, is that going to be hot? Some kale frying up and some butter. All homegrown, so that's useful. Good being fairly self-sufficient at times like this. Right, you say night, boys. Bye-bye.
Right, I'm going to bed now.
How's the dinner?
I don't like garlic cow.
I think it's really good.
This is not best.
We can keep the stock pot going
Best dinner ever.
if we put some more meat in it.
Ted, were you about to say best dinner ever? Yeah, good on you, Ted.
Yeah, but then he thought of all the McDonald's dinner.
So final job of the night. I'm just seeing if any of our eggs are still alive that we've had in front of the fire here. Looks like we've got one definite. One very definite live one. Not much movement from the others so far, but yeah, this one is very excitable. If I put a couple, got a couple more. Not a whole lot of movement from the rest of them. It's been really hard to keep the temperature right for these things. It's either the fire's cranking and you have to move them away from the fire, or damp it down overnight and it gets a bit too cold. It's quite hard to keep it right. Anyway, we'll see. I'll put them back into bed.